Introduction to agrarian reform and its purpose. Agrarian reform encompasses a range of government-led initiatives aimed at restructuring agricultural systems, often with a focus on land ownership and distribution. Its primary purpose is to address inequalities in land ownership, promote social justice, and enhance agricultural productivity. This can involve measures like land redistribution, modernizing agricultural practices, and providing support for smallholder farmers. Agrarian reform often seeks to empower marginalized communities, improve food security, and foster economic development in rural areas. The importance of land reform. Land reform is crucial for addressing land inequality and poverty. It aims to redistribute land ownership, giving more people access to productive land. This can boost agricultural output, create jobs, and improve food security. By empowering smallholders and farmers, land reform can help lift communities out of poverty and promote economic growth. The role of the Department of Agrarian Reform. The Department of Agrarian Reform, or DAR, plays a vital role in the Philippines by promoting land distribution and rural development. Its mission is to empower farmers by providing them with secure land ownership and access to essential support services. The DAR achieves this through various programs, including: first, land acquisition and distribution. The DAR acquires land from large landowners and distributes it to landless farmers, giving them ownership and control over their land. Second, support services. The DAR offers various support services to farmers, including training, access to credit, and assistance with marketing their produce. This helps farmers improve their productivity and livelihoods. Lastly, land tenure improvement. The DAR works to improve land tenure security for farmers, ensuring they have clear legal rights to their land. This includes resolving land disputes and providing legal assistance.
Land ownership under the Spanish rule. The encomienda system. The Spanish crown implemented the encomienda system in the Philippines, granting Spanish settlers, or the encomenderos, control over indigenous population in exchange for providing protection and converting them to Christianity. While the system is didn't directly grant land ownership, it effectively gave encomenderos control over the land inhabited by indigenous people. So these lead to the exploitation of resources and labor, disrupting traditional and land ownership patterns and causing significant social and economical changes. The system concentrated control in the hands of Spanish settlers, displacing indigenous community from their ancestral land. So the land ownership under the American rule. After the Spanish and American War, the United States took control of the Philippines. The American introduced a system of private land ownership, replacing the Spanish encomienda system. But this shift, however, did not necessarily lead to more equitable land distribution. The Americans, while attempting to promote the land ownership, also encouraged the formation of large land holdings, often controlled by the wealthy Filipinos and American corporations. This led in a continuation of the unequal land distribution patterns established during the Spanish era. Let's jump to the agrarian reform efforts under Marcos' Presidential Decree number 27. So the Presidential Decree of number 27 in 1972, Ferdinand Marcos declared the martial law and implemented the series of reforms, including the Presidential Decree number 27, which aims to emancipate the tenants farmers from the bondage of the soil. This decree aims to transfer land ownership from the landlords to the tenant farmers. While the decree was a significant step towards the land reform, this implementation was flawed. It includes provision for favor landlords, such as allowing them to retain a certain amount of land, and it did not address to the root causes of land inequality. This result was complex and often continuous process with mixed outcomes.
Hello everyone, I am Regine Mijiongo and my report is the Comprehensive Agrarian Reform Program or the CARP. The Comprehensive Agrarian Reform Program or the CARP, enshrined in Republic Act number 6657, aimed to address the long-standing issue of land inequality in the Philippines. So diri ni nagsulod ang pagpanghatag sang duta sa mga farmers nga wala sing duta sukad pa kag pag-provide sa ila sa mga support kag services kag para ma-promote ang rural development. The CARP's primary goal was to promote social justice and economic development by distributing an agricultural land to landless farmers. It sought to empower farmers, enhance agricultural production, and resolve land ownership conflicts. Kag ginahangupan nila ang nga mahatagan sila sang power ang mga farmers para ma-enhance pagid ang ila produksyon sa agriculture kag maresolba ang pag-conflict sa pagpanag-iya sang isa ka duta. CARP's core element: land tenure improvement or the LTI. This involve taking land from private owner and government giving it to qualified farmers. So, amo ni siya ang pagkuha sang gobyerno sa mga private owner nga wala nakabayad sang utang sa bangko or wala sing nakabayad sang buwis kag ginahatag ini sa mga qualified farmers. Program Beneficiary Development or the PBD. This provides support to farmers who receive land such as training loans and help building infrastructure. Amo ini ang paghatag sa mga bulig sa mga beneficiary sang isa ka duta paagi sa paghatag sa ila sang seminar kapag access sa credit loans, ilabi na sa mga serbisyo kag mga suporta sa ila. Agrarian Justice Delivery or the AGD. This focus on solving land disputes and making sure farmers' legal rights were protected. Ini nakafocus sa pagresolba sa mga problema sa isa ka duta kag para ma-sure sa isa ka farmers nga ara sa iya nga legal rights by providing the land title nga nakapangalan gid mismo sa tag-iya. The Comprehensive Agrarian Reform The Comprehensive Agrarian Reform Program or the CARP in the Philippines aimed to give land to farmers who did not own any here at the main group it targeted. Farmers who rented land. These are the people who work the land but don't own it. They pay rent to the landowner. Example sini ang pag-arindo sang isa ka duta. Farmers who share the harvest. The farmers work the land and share the crops they grow with the landowner. Ang example ya sini kay ang pag-agsa sang isa ka farmer sa isa ka duta nga ang gagasto is ang the landowner. Then ang pag-harvest ginashare ya ini or ginatunga nila sang landowner ang produkto. Farmers who work on public land. These are the farmers who work on land owned by the government. Example ya sini is ang isa ka farmers nga gaubra sa duta nga ang gapanag-iya is ang gobyerno tapos kag ang posible ini nga may patakaran nga dapat niya sundon para sa sustainable farming practices. Kag ang ini nga farmers amo ni siya ang napili sang gobyerno para buligan. Group of farmers working together. These include cooperative and group of farmers who work together to manage the land. Amo ni siya ang grupo sa mga mag-uuma nga nabilong sa kooperatiba nga nagbinulugay para sa pag-ubra or kapag manage sang isa ka duta. The land distribution. CARP successfully gave land to millions of farmers who did not own any before. This gave them a sense of ownership and security. The empowerment. Farmers who received land felt more empowered to improve their lives and make decisions about their farm. Amo ini ang paghangop ng isa ka farmers nga mahatagan sila sa mga kagamitan nga makawhaan sang knowledge para sa ila nga desisyon kag ma-improve ang ila nga pagpangabuhi labi na sa ila nga mga uma. Slow implementation. The CARP took a long time to be fully implemented, leading to frustration and delay for farmers. Limited support. Farmers who receive land often lack the resources and support they needed to success, such as access to loans, training, and better farming techniques. Corruption. Some official involved in corp misuse funds or took advantage of farmers, undermining the program goals.
At this point, I'm Beauty Dermal and I'm going to continue for the challenges and controversies of CARP. Land distribution and ownership. CARP faced significant challenges in land acquisitions, distribution, and ownership. The first one is for the land acquisitions. Getting land from private owners was a major hurdle. Legal processes were complex and landowners often resisted giving up their properties. Determining fair compensations also provide difficult, leading to disputes and delay. For ang pagbakal ni siya sang duta sang isa ka individual na taho or sa kumpanya. Kag ang sang process sang pagkuha or sang pagbakal sang duta naton is first one is ang ginatawag nga negotiations. Diri na di ang pag-istorya sang tag-iya sang duta about sa mga kondisyon niya. Second one is the due diligence. Pag-inspect naton sang gimbakal tanan na sa or ara galing nga duta is may utang. For the second one is what we call the land distribution or ang pagmamahagi ng lupa. Deciding who received land was another challenge. Identifying truly deserving farmers and resolving disputes over land claims were complex tasks. Is ang paghatag sang duta sa mga magsasaka para may ara sila sa ingon nila na duta na para mapuslan man nila. For the third one is the ownership issues. Land titles were often unclear or disputes, making it difficult to establish clear ownership. This led to conflicts and legal battles. Informal ownership based on traditional customs was also a problem, as these rights were often not officially recognized by the government. Controversya about sa panag-iya sang isa ka may ari-arian. Challenges and controversies of CARP. For the support services, farmers who receive land often lack the support they needed to success. So, ang mga farmers kuno naton nga gaka-receive sang ina nga duta kuno is nagatubang man sila sang kulang nga support halin sa mga mataas pagid nga kaya ipakitbato ang ilang nga duta. First is the credit. Credit is access to loans was limited, making it difficult to farmers to invest in their farms and improve their operations. So kalabanan kita sa aton ng mga farmers be is kulang sa money nga kinahanglan nila para sa ina nga duta. For the technology, farmers often lack access to modern farming techniques and equipment, hindering their productivity. For the infrastructure, poor infrastructure such as roads and irrigation system made it difficult for farmers to transport their crops and access market. Resistance from land ownership. Large landowners often resisted CARP using various strategies. First one is the legal challenges. They file lawsuits to challenge and programs legality and delay land acquisitions. Political, they use their influence pressures politicians to weaken or dismantle CARP. Violence and intimidations. In some cases, landowners or their supporters resorted to violence and intimidations to prevent farmers from claiming their lands.
The future of agrarian reform in CARPER and its role. The Comprehensive Agrarian Reform Program extension with reform or CARPER was enacted in 2009 to extend the deadline for land distribution under CARP and addressed some of its shortcomings. Or CARPER aimed to complete land distribution, finish distributing the remaining agricultural lands to farmer. Next is strengthen support services, provide farmers with better access to credit, technology, and infrastructure to improve their productivity. So, hindi lang duta ang ginahatag, kundi ginabligan man sila sa pag-angkon sang pundo like sa mga moderno nga mga gamit balat like ng pangabuhi kag pagpakayo sang mga kalsada kag irigasyon. Next is promote sustainable agriculture. So in these simple terms, ang CARPER naga-aim to give land to farmers, ginabuligan sila sa maayo nga paggamit sini and ensure that farming could continue sustainably for years to come. The future of agrarian reform in addressing the challenges. To overcome the challenges faced by CARP or Comprehensive Agrarian Reform Program and ensure the success of agrarian reform, several solutions are needed. First, streamlining land acquisition. Simplify legal processes and provide fair compensation to landowners to expedite land acquisition. So, ang streamlining land acquisition nga ginapadali ang pagproseso sa pagkuha sang duta or in another word, mas gina-organize gid ang pagkuha sang duta so that obstacles and complications in the process may be reduced.
Next is improving support services. Increase access to credit, training, and technology for farmers through government programs and partnership with private organizations. Third is strengthening infrastructure. Invest in roads, irrigation systems, and other infrastructures to improve farmers' access to markets and resources. So, diri naman niya, nag-focus lang din ni sila ya sa pagpanami or pagpalapad para sa mga kalsada, taytay, transportasyon, kuryente, tubig, kag iban pa. So, in promoting land consolidation, may proseso naman di ang iban like kinasimpo nila ang ilang mga ari-arian then tuta panamakay mo sila sa dako kag effective para sa ilang nga agrikultura kag para man mapanami ang mga products and then makales ang gasto. So last is addressing corruptions. Implement stricter accountability measures to prevent corruptions and ensure fair and transparent land distribution.
This is Carla May Castro, and my role for today is to share with you the another subtopic of the future of agrarian reform, which is the need for sustainability. There are long-term solutions and sustainable agricultural practices that are crucial for the success of agrarian reform. It includes these three. First is the environmental sustainability. Second is the economic sustainability, and last is the social sustainability. These three promote practices that conserve soil, water, and biodiversity such as agroforestry, integrated pest management, and organic farming. It supports farmers in developing value chains and assessing markets to ensure their economic viability. It empowers farmers to participate in decision-making processes and ensure their rights and well-being are protected. And now, here are the summary of key points. CARP, or the Comprehensive Agrarian Reform Program, aimed to redistribute land to farmers but face challenges in land acquisition, distribution, and support services. CARPER, or the Comprehensive Agrarian Reform Program extension with reform, was enacted to extend the program and address these challenges. The future of agrarian reform requires a comprehensive approach that addresses land acquisition, support services, and sustainability. This shows that CARP, even they face challenges, the CARPER was there to extend the program and address these challenges to help farmers and the future of agrarian reform to have they support services and sustainability. And now I will give you the importance of agrarian reform. Agrarian reform is important for first is the social justice. It provides landless farmers with the opportunity to own and control their own land. The economic development that create a more equitable distribution of wealth and opportunities in rural areas. Last is the food security, ensuring a stable and sustainable food supply for the Philippines. Agrarian reform focuses on the rights and the well-being of farmers or Filipinos. And now that we know about the importance of agrarian reform, I will share to you again the call to action. Continued efforts are needed to improve the implementation and effectiveness of the agrarian reform in the Philippines. That includes political will, public participation, resource allocation. These three have a crucial role too in the agrarian reform because it makes strong commitment from the policymakers to address the challenges and ensure the success of agrarian reform. It also engaging farmers and other stakeholders in the planning and implementation of the program, and it adequate funding resources to support the program's goals. We need to do these three so that the agrarian reform in the Philippines must be continued to improve the implementation and effectiveness. And that would be our report in agrarian reform in the Philippines. Thank you.